Hi, I'm Dwayne of Revelation Cable Company, and this is the Beer and Gear Show, where we talk about gear while drinking beer. Today we have Ryan Clarke and Neil Graham of Dr. Scientist. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me in your home.
Welcome.
All right, so we always start with some beer. Neil, you're not having any, but you know.
But we could, yeah.
More for you.
We could have we could have a little of his, yeah.
So this is Don't Lose Your Dinosaur IPA. It is from a local brewery called BNA Brewing. And I thought we'd give some local beers a try here.
Love it. BNA Brewing. Oh yeah, I like the color. I'm always hoping for like colorful beers like this, like more darker. Not the black ones, but like, well, I don't mind actually super dark beers too, but I like the brown ale kind of beer. It's probably my favorite overall beer. There.
It's like darker than a lot of IPAs.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Different, eh?
It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Has it got a fruit in it?
Wouldn't surprise me.
A lot of Okanagan stuff does, yeah.
A lot of the IPAs have a bit of a citrus kind of thing going on.
I was wondering if it had apricot in it. But I don't know. But I like it.
It's nice, yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Dwayne. It's real nice.
So tell me how Dr. Scientist started.
Oh gosh, well, it was almost 15 years ago to right now. It was spring 2005. I was just finishing up a 2-year electronics program at NAIT in Edmonton. That's the tech school, trade school there. And I did an electronics program, and over the course of those 2 years, I really got into making guitar pedals, tinkering on breadboards. You know, nothing formal. I was just sort of experimenting and tinkering, and I really liked it. And I was hoping at the end of my program that I might not have to go and get a normal job. Yeah. Maybe I could do something different. And right around that time, I met Tanya too at NAIT, and she was in the graphic sign arts program. Not at that time, she had just finished, but that's a program where the students learn how to make vinyl signs using adhesive vinyl like you would use for cars and all kinds of stuff. Like it's all around the world. You know, you see it all wherever you go downtown. You see vinyl signage and vinyl stuff all over the place. But I never really thought of it as like an art style or a finishing technique, but Tanya had this idea where she basically wrapped the enclosures in one color of vinyl and then would use her software and her plotter to cut the text and like little graphics like a pirate ship or dinosaurs or whatever little things like that. And so once I saw that, I thought, this is a real thing. We have a real thing here that we could make guitar pedals. Yeah. And so by that summer, we had the first few prototypes were done. We felt like we were onto a good building system that was going to actually work out for us. We could pull it off, and it was consistent and reliable and repeatable, and we were onto something. And basically, we spent all of 2005 developing the first line of pedals that we launched and a website. And by springish of 2006, we were online, available at our local music store on White Ave in Edmonton, the Acoustic Music Shop, a really great music shop in Edmonton down on White Ave. And we, from then, we've just been, that's it. That was like, it's funny, it just never stopped from then. Like once we kind of had the pedals ready, our website went live, boom, we were guitar pedal makers, and we've never looked back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you selling direct as well? We
were selling direct as well, yeah. We weren't making very many pedals back then. We were only doing maybe 20, 30 a month back 2006-ish kind of thing, But over the next few years, we'd get a dealer here, a dealer there. We started working with some great shops in the United States and in the UK and Australia, and Tanya was able, she had been working at the, at NAIT, there's a student bar there called The Nest, and she had been managing that. And by 2007, she was home with me every day, and we were making guitar pedals full time. Nice. Yeah, and it was a really neat time. It was a really exciting and just interesting, and it was really cool. Yeah.
And what was your initial lineup of pedals that you had then? It's
crazy, We started with more pedals in 2005 than we've ever made since. We've never made that many since. We had the Cleanness, the Woofer Whaler, that was a Tube Screamer clone that didn't last too long, the Frazzdazzler, the Tremolescence, the Cosmic Chorus, the Sunny Day Delay, and the Reverberator. We had 7 pedals in our line when we launched.
Wow.
Yeah, actually a little too many. It was kind of hard to make them all.
Right.
And the Woofer Whaler didn't last too long after that, but some of those pedals we still make to this day. Like we still make a Fraz Dazzler. He's changed forms like 4 or 5 times, but we still do that fuzz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. And do you think you might kind of bring any of those back in like a new form?
I do think that the world will see the Cosmic Chorus again for sure. We're definitely bringing that guy. He's not done. We're going to do something with that circuit for sure. The Reverberator, no. We're on to different reverb pastures now. So the Reverberator used a set of specialty chips that the company that made them went out of business 2012-ish, and I had a big stockpile of them, as much as I could get at the time, and it lasted till around 2017, and then that was the end of the Reverberator.
Right.
But now we do reverb in a much more powerful way than the Reverberator ever could have been.
Right.
And we programmed it ourselves. Like we decided how all the DSP goes and everything, where the Reverberator was a chip that I bought and it had these patches built in, where now Neil and I make the patches.
Okay.
So I like that way more.
Right. And so Neil, when did you come on to Dr. Scientist?
Oh, what was that?
2016.
2016, yeah.
Yeah. Feels like forever ago, but it was only a few years.
I was making some of my own pedals at the time, and I was trying to start my own business. And I was working on one. It was my first pedal that I was going to have to program. And then I had some questions that I just couldn't figure out. I don't remember exactly what it was. I just couldn't figure something out. So the only other Canadian builder I knew was Ryan off Instagram. And I thought he was still in Edmonton, actually. But I emailed him with questions, and he just said, why don't you come on down? So I realized he lived in Summerland. Yeah. So I just drove out here, and that day he was like, do you want a job? And then I just stopped making my pedals, and instead I started working with Dr. Scientist.
Yeah, Neil's a huge part of Dr. Scientist pedals. They wouldn't be, like what we've done in the last few years, it wouldn't be anything like it without Neil.
Yeah.
It's totally changed the direction that we get to go in, and it's awesome. And basically, as soon as we met in 2016, we've been talking every day since.
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know, we just hit it off really well and worked together really well. It's been awesome.
Mm-hmm. And so you guys together put the Atmosphere together?
Absolutely, yeah. We sit in front of this TV that's over here and this computer, and we spent pushing 2 years, just slogging away on the programming for that. The screen stuff was so tough. It was so hard to get all those systems working together, and then it was a challenge and a half. But
there's a lot of starting over, a lot of redos.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times we'd be like, oh, this is for sure how this system is going to work. Order the parts in, adjust the PCB, let's get coding it, get it all together, get it all in. Nope, that's not going to work at all. Now we go back to the drawing board, let's get a whole new thing. Yeah. We went through several iterations like that with more than one system on the Atmosphere, but we're really happy with where it got to. We sorted it all out, and it's quite neat pedal, if we do say so.
Well, the whole screen idea I thought was brilliant. I mean, where did that come from?
We love tech. Hey, we love gadgets, and we love the new stuff that comes out for the embedded systems like Arduinos. We love all of the peripherals that go with it, like screens and sensors and all the cool stuff. And we found a color screen, and we thought, we could make something with this.
Originally, actually, you were going to do a monochrome screen.
Yeah, I remember that. Put that picture on Instagram of that 1-inch white one.
He actually had the original idea. He had a monochrome screen, and it had 2 buttons beside it, and that's how you're going to manage your way through the screen and what it does.
And the screen was going to basically be what patch you're on. You know, it would say Hall.
And then, then later he had color screens. I think he just got them off eBay or something. Yeah. And you were playing with those, and then I just thought, you know what, these. For me, I didn't like the asymmetry of it. There was a screen and then buttons beside it. And I said, Brian, why don't we just get rid of that screen, do a bigger screen that takes up the whole center, and then it'll just be a perfectly symmetrical pedal.
Yeah.
All about symmetry.
The symmetry on a pedal's nice. I agree.
And then as soon as I mentioned that, he just said, yep, done. We threw away the old monochrome idea.
Yeah. Neil's a huge part of the planning for our pedals now. Guy's got good ideas. He knows how to implement them.
Right.
So we listen to him.
Well, It's very cool. It's kind of got this like 80s video game vibe to it.
Yeah, we both love that
both
stuff.
into
We're
that,
both
yeah.
into retro games. We love, people always recognize that the screen work reminds them of like Final Fantasy. For me, I think it looks like Symphony of the Night menu screens. But yeah, we're really inspired by like 90s video game
I
stuff.
designed that look on the screen, and I was going off Final Fantasy.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I didn't think anyone would really notice.
A
but
lot of
I think
people,
the first
yeah,
comment I
yeah.
saw was, that looks like Final
A
Fantasy.
lot of people recognize that about the screen, yeah, and that's a-okay with us.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I can mention that it has that special thing built into it.
Yeah, I think
a lot of
so,
people don't know, but the Atmosphere actually has a video game built into it, and that was just part of us playing on like what we think is neat about that era and having a screen and buttons. It's like, for people who love video games, it's not a very far step to be like, couldn't that play a video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
For sure. I saw that on your Instagram. It's great.
It's a silly little game. We'll do something better for the BitQuest V2. Yeah, we'll do an even cooler game.
Nice. For the what too?
The BitQuest V2.
Oh.
An upcoming thing. It's a thing that we're planning now, but there'll come a new BitQuest next year that has the screen like the Atmosphere, and all the MIDI and all the features and the presets, and we'll even write some new patches for it, so it'll be a little more decked out than the
That's great.
It's going to be a fun one.
No pre-orders yet, though. We're like,
Yeah. It's coming.
It's a ways away.
It's a ways away. It'll take us a year to cook that up. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That'll be a nice.
It'll be a fun one.
Yeah. So I saw somewhere that you had given Neil a birthday present for like all the coding in a book.
Yeah, for the Atmosphere, when we finished that pedal, I mean, Neil and I spent so much time working on it. Neil especially, because Neil's more of the programming guy than me. I do the PCB work. I arrange how the builds kind of, like the boxes are going to go. But Neil's a million times better at programming than me. That's an understatement, hey? And so I just felt like what he had made was so special. He had like the volume of work that encompassed the Atmosphere. When you would scroll through it on the computer, it was like pages and pages and pages, like dozens of pages, right? Like a lot of work. And I thought, we got to do something neat with this, because this is special what Neil's cooked up here. And I checked in with my mom. My mom has always been like just awesome at like figuring stuff out. You know, if you need to get something done and you're not sure how, you check in with my mom about it. And she was like, "Oh, let's do like a hardcover book, and I'll find a guy in Kelowna and we'll figure out how to do it." And she basically arranged this book, and a bookmaker in Kelowna. I sent him all the code in like just one big file, all the code, and he put it into this neat book with a neat cover on the front, saying the Atmosphere. And going forward, we'll always do this now. We'll commemorate all of our pedals with a hardcover book for our library, and then we'll get the Dusk one done soon. That'll be next.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a doctoral dissertation or something.
It's neat, eh? It's neat. It's neat.
So did you go to school for the coding?
no, I'm completely self-taught, which is probably why that's thicker than it needs to be. But I haven't really done any school for electronics. I went to school for music.
Okay.
So yeah, I studied music production and bass guitar. So that's primarily what I've learned. Everything else for electronics and coding, that's just on my own time.
Yeah.
Right.
He's an unbelievable self-driven learner. Like, I swear he knows way more than what we learned in our 2-year program at NAIT, because programming was a bit a part of that. What I took away from that is a fraction of what Neil does and is capable of. He's got that mind for it.
Yeah.
I think programmers have slightly different ways of thinking about, like, to be really great at programming is a certain kind of brain, and he's got it. I don't have it. I don't have one, but he does.
Right. Well, it's awesome. And it seems like you guys make a really good team, because I mean, the Atmosphere is an unbelievable pedal. I love it. So one thing that I thought was interesting, and from looking at your pedals, I kind of get this, I don't know, a lot of ambient players use them.
Yes.
But from what I understand, you're kind of a metalhead.
Yeah, I am. I've always really been into extreme metal, like extreme guitar tones, the lowest of tunings, the most amount of gain possible. And I would probably say over the history of my musical, interest, that I like death metal the most. That's my favorite genre. Yeah. I don't know. I just love those. I like those blast beats and those crazy deep palm mutes and the demon yelling, you know, like, so yeah, I'll take all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool by me.
And I mean, do any of your pedals do that kind of stuff, or are you kind of directing it somewhere
I would
else?
say the Fraz is our most extreme tone of a fuzz, but I wouldn't say it's really a death metal distortion. It's more of like a synth rock, high gain synth rock, like a, I don't know, some band that would be appropriate to say there. Hey, you know?
Exactly.
I like synth rock a lot too. I love bands like Dead Z, Orgy. They generally have really high gain guitar tones that are really interesting sounding, and the death metal kind of tone is different from that generally. And we don't really make something that I think would be perfect for like that kind of tone. But I'm always thinking like, just sort of thinking one day I'll make the ultimate death metal.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. One thing that I thought was very kind of scientist-y was that you did the molecular overdrive.
Yes,
and
that
so
was, yeah.
were you the first person to bring in kind of nanotechnology into your pedals?
Yeah, as far as I know, yes, I was the first. Dr. Scientist was the first business that had that opportunity, and I'll tell you a bit about it. It was 2014. I got an email one day from Adam Berggren from the University of Alberta. He was one of the main, or like on the team of the research scientists that were doing that nanotechnology work, and basically it was an email like, we're designing something that could be, you'd almost describe it as like a cutting edge diode, like a new technology sort of a diode. And so it had applications in all kinds of non-musical industries, right? Like you can do, you know, diodes are ubiquitous in electronics, but in this application, Dr. Berggren was a guitar player. And because they had made this cutting edge diode, Dr. Berggren realized those are in guitar pedals. Why don't we see if we could make this technology transition into a guitar pedal? Because for research physics like that, a huge part of what they're trying to do is show the thing in real life. Show that this idea or that this new concept or new way of making a thing has a real world application, could actually get used in everyday life by normal people as a real thing. And that's a very hard thing to do. Most research physics doesn't come to that. It stays theory, but they had an opportunity to bring something to the market. And so part of the mandate of the U of A is to work with businesses that would be local to them or around them, right? And so they wanted a guitar pedal company. They looked for guitar pedal companies in Canada who so just happened to live in Edmonton, Dr. Scientist. So we got the email. We got the email to see if we would be interested. So we go down to the university one afternoon and we get a tour of the lab and you get shown what all this stuff is. And would you be interested in helping us make a prototype pedal that could demonstrate these molecular junctions alongside traditional diodes so that people could hear a difference or compare. And so yes, we of course were interested in doing that, and we made up I think it was 8 or 10 at the first round of these. They're pretty big box. They were there was called like molecular junction prototype kind of thing. It was, you know, it had all these cool science logos and stuff on the side of it, and it got taken around to like conferences around the world where they would be talking nanotechnology, molecular physics, and they would bring out the molecular junction guitar pedal and show, here's a real world application of this technology in practice. Here it is being used. And so based on that, they then went into production with the devices, and we made that guitar pedal that was called the Heisenberg. We did that run that was all molecular junction. It was like 3 different distortion pedals in one, and each circuit was based off of a molecular junction, so it had 3 in the box. And from there, they formed Nanolog Audio, which is the company that now will then manufacture those for the world, and they'll be used in not just guitar pedals. They'll have much higher tech applications like high-speed video, high-speed switching, even certain like space applications that require the certain properties that these junctions have. So it's a really neat thing, and to get an email to be asked if you're interested in, you know, in developing something like that, I still can't believe it happened. I honestly can't believe that was a thing that we got to do. It blew me away, still blows me away. It was really neat.
Nice. Yeah. And so that pedal is no longer a Dr. Scientist thing?
Right. We could still use molecular junctions, you know. Anyone's welcome now to get them from Nanolog Audio, and you can put them into whatever circuit you like. And people definitely should be experimenting with them as they are really neat. Like they have really interesting characteristics. They can be suited from low, medium, high gain. Like they're a really dynamic and interesting thing to make a distortion pedal out of. And so hopefully they sell 1 million of them.
Yeah. Since you've kind of gotten Neil on board, you find it a little bit easier to do more like development of different ideas?
It's completely changed what I think of as Dr. Scientist. Like when we, I feel like before Neil, I had an idea of what pedals I could make or what things I could work on and I'd be able to pull off. Neil completely changed that. It opened up so much, I feel like, that now we sort of could probably whip up almost anything. Like I feel like there'd be, I don't know, the limitations that I personally would have felt for myself, they are gone with Neil, and now I feel like Dr. Scientist could probably make bloody near anything if we decided that's the direction we were going to go in. It's really changed.
Yeah.
It's changed how our pedals get made, how we design them, what we can design. Yeah, I feel like since 2016 that all changed. Yeah.
And do you have a lot of kind of a list of ideas of things that you want to get produced?
I often bring up ideas of stuff. Like I constantly think of ideas of something that isn't really on the market and just stuff that would be interesting, just like would catch your eye. I don't really want to say what any of those are at the moment, but I always bring them up to Ryan, and we kind of have them on the back burner. So if we ever want to,
always
we can
kicking
get
around
around to
lots,
them. But we also have many other ideas of stuff that we feel should be done first.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of those on the go.
Yeah.
But a lot of time too, he'll bring me an idea and say, I can't figure out how we're going to make this work, and I'll come up with an idea like, just get rid of this, switch this to this, and then we can do it. And there's been a lot of times where we run into what we think is a brick wall where this isn't going to work, and then I'll
It's a huge
I'll
part
be
of
the problem solver.
It's a huge part of electronic design is getting to
Yeah.
a spot where you're just like, oh well, that's the end of it. Like I'm done with this problem. I'm stumped, and it geez, like for the Atmosphere, we were coming up with plan B's and C's and D's, and like
we were onto the Welsh alphabet after that.
we had to go to move to Hexa and start mixing letters and numbers. That's a huge part of it. To have a partner who is great at a different thing that what you are good at, or even all the things that you're good at, is really powerful. It really has changed like what Dr. Scientist can be, and I think that's really exciting. Like I never wanted to be a kind of company that could only do what I personally could do. Like I've always thought that to learn from him and to have his ideas on board just is awesome, and it makes us totally changes what we can do, and that there's only good things about that.
I think that's part of the nature of a good partnership.
Yeah.
I mean, what your wife had brought to the
Absolutely,
table with the graphics.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a great collaborative partner. Because it just brings a lot. Like if you work really well with somebody and they get what you want to do and what the vision, like Neil gets what it is to be Dr. Scientist or what a Dr. Scientist product should be.
Yeah.
He gets that all day. So I just really feel like it's added a ton to our business. And Neil's more like a partner really now.
Yeah. I mean, and you need those people to kind of push back against ideas that you think are good that might not be that good.
That might not be that good. Lots of times I'll come up with names for stuff, and Tanya and Neil will both be like, that is definitely not what we're calling it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Usually, we get his list of possible names, and then those are the first ones to go in the garbage, and now the real list starts.
Awesome. I always try to think of a funny name first. Like if I could make the world laugh with my guitar pedal names, but I think of dumb stuff, and that's what I usually pitch is dumb stuff that isn't going to make it onto any pedal. Yeah.
Well, I've been there myself, and I've gotten a lot of flack for not naming our company Gables Cables.
That easily would have been Ryan's first thought as well.
Well, I love a rhyme. If something can rhyme, I'm in. Yeah, I do think like that. That's so true.
But I had to nix it, and people are constantly giving me flack.
That's
why
funny.
is it not Gables Cables?
Oh, that's hilarious, isn't it? Everybody's got a good idea about your business, though. That's totally a totally a thing too. Oh, I see. We're almost done these, Dwayne. Should we?
Let's
try
number two.
our other one. Yeah.
Yes. So this is another IPA. Same company, BNA Brewing.
Thriller.
That's
pretty cool looking.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It's like 3D.
That's pretty cool, actually, isn't it? And Michael Jackson. He made Thriller.
He did.
Oh, it's a darky too a bit, hey? That's nice.
Oh.
Oh, a little like reddish, hey? Is this a fruit one, I wonder?
I think
In the Okanagan, you
I
get a
heard there
lot of...
was some cherry in there.
You get a lot of cherry and apricot and apple beer, and they are all really good. Yeah, local cherries, neat. The Okanagan is quite well known for cherries. I've heard actually that most of the cherries that Canadians eat come from the Okanagan, and they're really delicious. Like cherry season's a big deal around here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I like this one even more. It's the cherryness is tart, hey? Like
Yeah, but it's subtle. Like thankfully it's not like an overly fruity beer.
Do you like the beers when there's fruit floating in it? You know, like there's like raspberry hunks floating in it. It's like overly fruity beer.
I don't know that I've tried one that had chunks in it, but I definitely like a more hazy.
Yeah. This is a hazy one, isn't it? Yeah. I guess it was even.
Yeah, it was.
I think they referred to that. Yeah, it's nice. Okanagan, not just for wine. Hey, we got beer makers here too. That's pretty cool.
There's a lot of breweries kind of coming up around locally. I had to decide which one to pick.
Yeah, I think that's neat. Like, I love there's such a neat wine industry here, but I'll always be a beer drinker.
Yeah. You guys have a new pedal coming out.
We do, yeah.
It's Dusk?
Dusk. We've been working on this for a while now, and yeah, this is finally ready. We are actually we are in production building now. So we've taken in all of our dealer orders, and now we are making the stock and getting them ready.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love the graphics. It looks great.
I think Tanya did a really cool job on it.
Yeah.
I really dig it too. Yeah.
So, kind of give me the basics.
Sure.
Of what's
Neil,
going
you
on
want to
there.
give the pitch on that one?
Yeah, so this is it's basically a multi-mode low-pass filter based around an OTA. That's an operational transconductance amplifier. It's a very old chip. You'll find
old
in a
school
lot
chip.
of like synthesizers, and synthesizers especially is where you'll find this kind of effect.
Yeah.
You'll get that kind of deal going on.
Yeah.
So there's 3 modes on this. There's a standard one where the filter is controlled just by a knob or the expression pedal. You can actually also control it with a MIDI jack on the side there.
Yeah, we're MIDI guys. Yeah, we love MIDI.
The other mode is your envelope, so that's controlled by the dynamics of the input signal. That's where you get those kind of waka chicka, that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It actually has an alternate mode as well, where the envelope will decrease the louder the sound. So it has like a reverse envelope.
Yeah.
And the final mode on it is the LFO. So we have 6 different waveforms. You can choose any one of them, and then that'll just modulate the low-pass filter for you. And that's a tap tempo available on the left stomp.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's kind of funny. I saw somewhere that you said, somebody asked you, what is the one pedal that shouldn't have been made? And you said, wah, in Ottawa, another wah.
Yeah, I've been pretty mouthy about wahs over the years. Yeah, I'm a mouthy wah person. It's funny.
So can you do wah with that? Like a wah type sound?
Yeah, you
Close,
can. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Hypocrite.
yeah. It's true. You can do wah type sounds with that. Yeah, it's funny. I've never liked that sound, but this is terrible to say. I almost shouldn't even probably be saying this, but I've actually never really liked guitar solos.
Yeah.
I don't really like that sound or that thing when it happens in a song and it switches from being a cool song and now it's a solo.
Right.
I don't really, that's always really been a thing for me. And wahs are always such a huge part of the solo I just have always been like, no, that's just, none of that's for me. But low pass filter on the other hand, I love the sound of low pass. I love like when it sweeps, the filter sweep. It's just a cool sound. I've always thought it was a really cool sound. And for this one, we got kicking around the idea of making a filter because we both love synthesizers and kind of filter sweepy sounds, and we thought we could maybe make a filter that did all the cool modes in one box. Because oftentimes a filter will be an envelope filter, or it will be a cutoff filter, or it will be an LFO filter. We thought, well, maybe we can get them all into one under one roof. Yeah.
One small box.
Yeah, one small box. Yeah.
A lot of filter pedals are huge for some reason.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, well, big guitar pedals is a thing, isn't it? Yeah. We like small guitar pedals. We like jam-packed, no free space guitar pedals.
Yeah. Well, and that's the one thing I found about the Atmosphere. There's not a lot of small box reverb pedals that do a lot of stuff.
That have the MIDI and presets and the LFO system in the Atmosphere alone. That's one of the things I think is hard to convey about the Atmosphere, is that it has such a powerful LFO system that makes it so dynamic and brings so much to those effects. Like it can really change the sound in a huge way. And that LFO works with MIDI, it works with expression, all kinds of ways that you can. We tried to do everything we could feature-wise for the Atmosphere. Yeah. But we did it all, didn't we? Like, I mean, we did everything we could.
Yeah. Well, it's a great pedal, and I look forward to giving that one a try too.
Oh,
because
thanks,
I love
You like
filter
filters?
pedals. Yeah.
It's a neat sound, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I think he's come around. He's enjoying them now.
Yeah. You watch. I'll be wallowing up solos before you know it.
You gotta pull out some like old Metallica solos.
Yeah, he's the next Kirk Hammett over here.
Yeah. It's funny. I'd be happy with a song if it just went, like just palm mutes. Just palm mute the big string the whole time. Fade it out after 4 minutes. That's my favorite song now. That's all I need.
Perfect.
I'm simple. I'm a simple guitar player. I've always been a simple guitar player.
Yeah.
Just really power chords and palm mutes with a ton of distortion.
Right.
Is really all I've ever accomplished with the guitar. And I've played a guitar for 25 years.
You do what you love.
I do what you love. Yeah, I agree. I do. Yeah. Neil's an extraordinary musician, which is also, we talk a lot about how he brings so much programming skills to it, but he's actually like a really great multi-instrumentalist. Yeah. You can play bass, guitar, keyboards, saxophone.
Yep.
Bet you can play drums too if you sat down behind a kit, couldn't you?
Badly, but you can make some noise. Yeah.
I bet it would count. I bet it would be in perfect time. Which is neat. That's quite neat to have around because, like, when I'm testing a pedal, I might just hit the strings, right? I might just flick the strings to make sure that the sound is coming through and that the effect is doing what it's supposed to do, technically. Where Neil picks up a guitar and makes music with it every time, and that's neat. That's just neat to be around. He also knows ins and outs of music that I've never had a good handle on. Like, I've never had a good handle on what subdivisions mean. Like all the different dotteds and triplets and eighths and stuff like that have always just been sort of just a foreign language to me, basically. And Neil knows stuff like that. He even brings that to the party.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that might be a good idea for, I could see a crazy delay pedal in the size of an Atmosphere.
Yeah, we talk lots about delay. Yeah. What would you say is keeping us from a delay pedal?
I don't really know.
Would you say it's
at any time, I suppose.
I kind of feel like we're waiting for our next DSP platform. Like a powerful delay would be DSP based, right? So you're going to have to be programming that in a certain environment using a certain chip. And all of Dr. Scientist's DSP chips or DSP work has been on a specific DSP chip, one. And I think that for when we do a delay, we want to start on a new path with a new DSP platform and make something that would be even new to us. Like if we were to make a delay off of the platform that we're already using, I think it wouldn't be as exciting for us as to get into have to learn a new thing right from the bottom up. But it would open up a whole bunch of new possibilities for us, and I think that's probably most exciting for us. So we get a new DSP chip, watch out. We'll be making a delay.
Great. Who are some of the builders out there that you like for pedals?
Oh, I actually like a ton. I imagine you like a ton too.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go first?
Oh, geez.
I put you on the spot. There's tons. We could sit here for hours naming builders we admire and respect the work of.
Yeah, there's the bigger companies are always going to be the ones that I find the most impressive, like Strymon, even Boss. I
love Boss.
They're genius engineers. Yeah. So they're kind of the ones that you kind of look up to, I think. But
some of those,
but there's also a lot that are just like more so like our friends, people who we've actually interacted with, who I think are just very nice and all good builders. Like Demedash from Winnipeg.
Hi, Steve.
Tomcat Pedals.
Hey, Tom.
Cooper Effects.
Hey, Tom.
Also Tom. Yeah.
Hey, Cooper. Hey,
there's so many.
Cooper's his dog.
I'm going to forget a ton. But
Well, I guess John from...
Electronic Audio Experiments.
He's another guy
John.
that I would look up to as he's a genius level person.
Love to thank Matthew Farrow. Alexander Pedals in Disaster Area.
Genius.
Matt Farrow's the kind of guy where if you are having a problem with something, you check in with him and he'll tell you something like, I got you. I'll get you through, and then he'll help you figure it out. He'll help you. There's a lot of, same with Tom Cooper, Tom Majeski from Cooper. I always call him Tom Cooper, but Cooper's his dog and his name is Tom.
Tom and Cooper.
Tom and Cooper. But when we were making the Atmosphere, every week we were checking in with Tom. He was developing his moment machine, his pitch arpeggiator sequencer pedal, which is such a neat pedal. And, you know, you get a camaraderie like that with a builder. You share ideas, you help each other with problems, you help each other with, you know, so many of these problems with electronics and with the digital stuff. You know, you might think you're at a brick wall, but you're not. You're at a hurdle that can be jumped, and you just, you know, you need a push or you need an idea. And there's a lot of people that are like that in our biz that are they're great peers. You know, they're people that are going to help you through a problem.
Tom helped us with some big ones on the Atmosphere.
Big time, big time. Yeah. Thanks, Tom. We really appreciate what you did for us. We appreciate the help. Yeah, Tom showed us code that he would be right to never show anyone some of the incredible stuff that he has as his software in his pedals. And Neil and I were really stumped on something with the Atmosphere, an issue with the Atmosphere. And Tom was like, I'm going to show you this code so you can get an idea of like what the thinking is behind it. We looked at it and we were like completely baffled. We looked at it and we're like, it was like getting a message from Mars, and you'd be like, how would I best decipher this message from an alien? I'm not sure, you know. It was kind and supportive of him to, you know, that, you know, we try to pay that forward too. We're generally an open book. I get a lot of builders checking in with me on Instagram, and I tell them everything I can. I tell them everything I know. Happy to share what I know. I feel like it's a big part of our industry is that a lot of us aren't, you know, brilliant papered engineers. We're hackers. We're winging it. We're doing our best with what we have. We have a grand idea. We have certain skills, and we're swinging that bat. You know, swinging as hard as we can. And it's cool to have some support and some like there's good fellowship in the guitar pedal industry like that. And it's really cool.
Well, it's great that you guys can all support each other, and you know, we're all just trying to make a living. And
it's tough being a small business.
Yeah, it is. And the fact that you guys can help each other to everybody kind of builds each other up rather than
always
trying to take shots and
exactly like that kind of negativity. I've always thought that, you know, if Tom Cooper, if Tom and Cooper Pedals is doing great, then Dr. Scientist can do great, right? The better that our peers are doing, if they're busy and successful, we can be busy and successful, and that, you know, to help each other achieve that will only be better for not only these small businesses involved, but the market in general. The customers will be happier, the dealers will be happier. Like, it benefits everybody if we're, you know, happy and successful and like, you know, swinging as hard as we can. And I think that we're pretty lucky in the guitar pedal biz.
That's great. So I need to ask you guys both, what kind of guitar, amp, and pedals do you have? What's your kind of main setup?
You go, Neil.
I have basically one nice guitar, which is from Schecter.
Good old thank you, Schecter. Thank you.
They sent me that guitar.
We've done two trades with Schecter over the years, where we send them pedals and they send each of me and Neil a guitar, and like we love Schecter. Those guitars are badass, top notch, and they're a pleasure to work with. Just an awesome company.
Great. And then I have a bunch of very cheap J. Tercer knockoff guitars. Very bad guitars, so mostly I just play the Schecter, but I really play bass mostly, so I have a Dingwall. Dingwall is definitely my favorite bass company out there. For pedals, it's mostly just Dr. Scientist stuff, really.
Shout out that Future Impact.
The Future, that's a pedal everyone should check out.
It's one of the wildest synthesizer pedals ever made.
It's an amazing pedal. You plug like a bass or a guitar in, and it reads the notes you're playing. Plays a synthesizer instead. So it's super
so
fun
cool
to play
sounding.
With.
We love that one.
So it's basically that, and then a bunch of Dr. Scientist stuff.
Okay. And what kind of amp you got?
Oh, I have a Dr. Scientist amp. Ryan, that's another gift Ryan got me. I haven't even posted on Instagram, unbelievably. I should really get around to that. But he built me a little pizza amp for Christmas this year.
Pizza amps are like a solid state amp that I'm messing around with. I'm trying to make a neat little solid. I like solid state amps. They're generally set up to only be clean. Like they don't have any kind of clipping or distortion in them at all. They're just a clean platform, which I think is really perfect for pedals and stuff. And so I've made like 3 of them, and Neil's got 1.
Well, and they're especially good for bass.
No,
not so much this one. But
it has it's got 4.5-inch speakers, so it's like not a real bass mover. But
I live in an apartment.
But exactly, it's apartment appropriate. It's apartment appropriate.
I guess I just meant a clean platform is really good for bass. And solid state is much more popular among bassists than they are guitarists.
I think solid state circuits are really neat. I don't know. I just like that tinkering for an amp style. You know, there's actually like a handful of different kind of ways that amplifiers get made, and tubes are obviously awesome, and they're, you know, I would never say that a solid state amp is going to outperform a tube amp, but there's solid state amps, and then there's Class D amps, that new kind of digital amplifier that all three have really interesting merits, really cool things about them and their builds, and they're application specific, right? Like there's times where a solid state clean amp is going to be just what you need. Other times maybe not, hey? Yeah. But yeah. As for me, my main amp is a kit that I made from Mojo Tone, a really neat company who makes all kinds of amplifier kits through the years, like say you always wanted a specific Marshall, or say you always wanted a specific Vox or something. These guys have a kit for you that comes with really awesome instructions, very detailed pictures, and you whip it up yourself. You make yourself a neat amp, right? And so over here where I work, I've got a Fender Deluxe Reverb Mojo Tone kit tube amp, and it's based off of the original Deluxe Reverb, the 25 watt AB763 circuit, the black face Fender, just a great 1960 era amplifier, you know, simple, straightforward tube amp with tube driven reverb, and I have it sitting on a couple of 15-inch Eminence Legends. And it's a killer sounding amp. It's a killer tube amp and a clean platform. I only use it for clean because I've always been like, your amp is clean and loud, and then your boards provide all your drive. Right. I like that better because I don't really want a medium drive tone or like a, you know, a jangly clean or anything. I want a clean tone, and then I want the most distorted tone ever, the most highest gain tone. Yeah. Just those two is good for me. Okay. Cool. Yeah, and so I for pedals, like me personally, probably my favorite guitar tone historically pedal wise would be the Boss FZ2. The Hyper Fuzz Boss pedal. It's just the grindiest, rippingest fuzz. I'm just in awe of it. You know, I just think it's an amazing fuzz tone. And some of the albums that it's been on through the years, like I think back to like, it was like 1994, okay? And Orgy just put out their Candy Ass CD, and the first single on it is Blue Monday, that famous 80s song, and their version of it uses the FZ2. And when that chorus comes in for that Blue Monday song, the tone is like nothing you've ever heard. It's the highest gain, rippingest fuzz tone ever. And that's the Boss FZ2 for you. You know, that's what those designers were shooting. Like, I just love that back in the 80s or whenever that would have been made, that Boss was like, let's make the craziest, wildest, heaviest. Same as their HM2, really. Like, Boss and extreme tones, they nailed it. They really nailed some of the most extreme guitar tones that you're going to hear. Yeah.
A lot of people are just trying to recreate what Boss has done.
Oh, yeah. You're going to see a lot of that in the guitar pedal industry, Totally. Yeah. It's so true. I mean, like, so many of their circuits are such, they're so popular. I mean, like, just even the 10 million units on a DS1 kind of thing. Like, this is a sound that a lot of people are identifying with. You know, a lot of people are digging that orange box. Yeah. And I've always admired Boss too. I think it's really cool how they give you they'll give you a sound in a package that is basically indestructible. You know, you're never going to bust one of those pedals. And it's going to be simple and straightforward. You're going to get at what you need right from those knobs right there. It's fast to use, and they'll provide sounds that, like, they invented. And I have a lot of admiration and respect for Boss. Yeah. And Electro-Harmonix and all those biggies, right, that led the industry, you know, like, I think that about, like, Way Huge, Z-Vex, right, guys that basically made it so Neil and I can have a job.
Right. That kind of the beginning of the boutique market.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those guys paved the way for so many brands to have a go at this, and that is pretty cool. Yeah.
And as far as guitars, I see you have
guitars.
A Millimetric there.
I just absolutely love Millimetric guitars. Yeah. Florian is an incredible builder, a true craftsman, a true artisan, and the guitars he makes are, you know, straight out of his mind, you know, like his own creation, and they're works of art. And I would say also that I'm an equally as big of a fan of Electrical Guitar Company. Yeah. I love EGC guitars. Yeah.
Yeah, I see you have one there.
Yeah, and I've got a baritone EGC. Yeah, I've had it for about 10 years now, and I just I remember I got it. I was checking it out, looking at the tuners, looking at the fit and finish. I had to email Kevin and just say, I can't believe how awesome this guitar is. Like, it's so well made. It sounds so cool. The sound of an EGC is like the lowest lows, the highest highs, everything in between, all perfectly balanced. It's just a rich, full sound that I really dig.
And he builds for some of my favorite bands. Like
Absolutely, yeah.
Jesus Lizard, Shellac.
Yeah, a lot of cool bands, right?
Yeah.
Totally. Like, it's awesome that he makes King Buzzlow's guitars,
Yeah.
right? Like, he's making a lot of really cool guitars.
I know. And
Big fan.
I'm like, he's got the Ken Andrews.
Totally
guitar
awesome.
from
That's
Failure.
probably one of my favorite. Like, if I could just pick a desert island guitar, I'd probably take that one. It looks so cool, and I love the EGC sound. I also really love Schecter, like Neil and I were saying before. A big Schecter fan.
Yeah.
I've always thought they were really neat guitars. I always, I guess in the back of my mind, I always thought, oh, those are metal guitars, but I love metal, so I love those guitars. They're not metal guitars. They're everything guitars. Like, my trade with them last was for a model called the Apocalypse, the Schecter Apocalypse, right? You're probably thinking, ooh, that sounds heavy. That sounds high gain. It can make the sweetest sounds. You can split all of the pickups to single coil. It has every sound in it. It's an awesome guitar.
That's great. Yeah, I saw the picture on Instagram. They look beautiful.
That was great. Can you still believe we got to do a trade with Schecter? I mean, that was nuts. It was nuts. To get an email, that's one of the neatest things about our biz is, you know, you roll out of bed one day and you get an email from Schecter looking to get some of your pedals.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. That's one of my favorite things about the gig is little surprises like that you wouldn't have thought.
I know. It's
you
great
wouldn't have thought of.
meeting different people from different companies and building these relationships.
Absolutely.
And, it's amazing, like, to me, when I started realizing how kind of small and tight-knit this industry is.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome to meet people.
It's
And
neat, isn't it? Yeah.
It's great to meet you guys.
Great to meet you, Dwayne. Yeah, you too. Yeah.
So thank you very much for being on the show.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm so happy to be here in the Okanagan and see your shop, and it was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers,
for having
Dwayne.
Cheers.
me. Or you're welcome for having me.
No, we appreciate it. Thanks,
Yeah,
Dwayne.
thanks.
The Beer and Gear Show is brought to you by Revelation Cable Company. Please like, subscribe, and comment below.